Welcome back. 28 minutes before the hour. Thom Hartmann here with you. Senator Nina Turner in the studio with me. Senator, it is an honor and a pleasure to have you, to be in the same physical space with you.
The honor's all mine. I am an admirer. And to see the Thom Hartmann Library up close and personal, baby. They need to buy those books if they haven't.
Thank you. You are the former Ohio State Senator for the 25th District, currently a spokesperson for the Bernie Sanders campaign. Your Twitter handle is Nina Turner,
yes.
at Nina Turner. In fact, you and I have tweeted each other more than once.
We have. Can I just say, please, haters, don't tweet at me.
Yeah.
You know, keep your hate on your Twitter feed, and I only want the people who love me or really want to question, to...
Did you see this thing that's going on over at 4chan that Raw Story did a story about? A bunch of Trump people got together, and in fact, here's the printout, and they're trolling both. Yeah. They're pretending to be, like, half of them are pretending to be Bernie people, half of them are pretending to be Hillary people. They're going into Twitter and Facebook and trying to get Hillary and Bernie people to fight with each other.
Wow.
Right? They're literally starting fights in order to bring down, and these are all Trump people, in order to bring down basically the entire Democratic Party, and no matter who the candidate is. And I've been noticing on my Twitter feed, I get these things here, and I look at the person, and it just became a member like 3 weeks ago, right, with 16 followers.
Right, or 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Is this what it's come to?
Yeah, it really is. And I just blocked them now.
Politically incorrect. But let us not forget, David Brock of Correct the Record went on record to say that they're paying people to go into Twitter too. So,
but I think I think those are more the let me correct your policy position kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think the people who are using obscenities and calling names are either just like over the top zealots on either side, or they're these folks.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate
professional trolls
in the social media world, taking the yin and the yang, I guess. One of the downsides of having that, people can be totally anonymous and say just anything and just be really rotten towards other human beings. I don't like when people do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's sad. And we've seen this before in the 2004 election. We were doing this program, and we had a guy in our chat room who, anytime anybody said anything nice about John Kerry, he would rebut it in our message boards. And he was very polite. He was very friendly. He told everybody who he was. He used his real name.
He was honest about.
Yeah, he put pictures of himself up. So we let him be part of the community. He actually kind of became part of our community.
Yes.
When the election, although he was always there, always rebutting anything about John Kerry.
Right.
When the election was over, he announced to all of us that he was leaving the board because he was no longer being paid to post on our board. And that he was joining the Marine Corps and going off to Iraq. And he posted a picture of himself in his at the recruited station in his Marine. And for about 4 months, we were seeing messages from him, in Iraq. And then he just vanished. I think he got killed in Iraq.
Oh no!
But he had been a paid troll. But this guy wasn't so much a troll, but a paid advocate. So this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, but at least there's a difference between people who hide behind the veil, who won't be honest with their mess. Compared to the gentleman that you just named, there's a difference. But you're right, this is part of the political strategy these days.
Yeah, it's amazing. Speaking of political strategy, Bernie and Hillary had agreed to a debate in California months ago. Secretary Clinton has decided not to do that, and now Donald Trump has said, okay, I'll debate you. Or maybe the flip side, Bernie said, do you want to debate me? And Donald Trump said, sure. What's the status of that? What do you know? You're inside the campaign.
There's some negotiations going on, but we know Mr. Trump, being Mr. Trump, said, well, I'll only do it if I get $10 million for a charity, and that charity has to be some woman's issue-oriented charity. I guess the the positive side of that is that it will be a woman's-oriented charity. Let's face it, Mr. Trump, in terms of his relationship, at least with women in organizations, has not been so supportive. I think he recently said that women who have abortions, who engage in the A word, should have to come under criminal charges. Meanwhile, Senator Bernie Sanders has been very supportive of women and our so-called issues, whether it's supporting Planned Parenthood or NARAL. He has a 100% rating. He believes that women should make dollar for dollar. So if, in fact, and I hope Mr. Trump does not back off, I hope he does it, because it will be a good way to expose the difference between him and Senator Sanders on issues of minimum wage, universal health care, all the things, Tom, that we know matter to the working poor, middle class
Well,
in this country.
and not just between him and Bernie.
Yeah.
It'll expose the differences between him and the entire Democratic Party
so
and most
true.
of America.
That is, and the world, dare I say. Some, but no, it's good. I think it would be good for our democracy for both candidates to do something like that.
It'll be interesting if it happens.
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting if it doesn't, I suppose.
Both, right.
So I'm curious about you. What got you into politics? What got you excited about this?
You know, I started off as a younger version of myself, really doing grassroots work in Cleveland for a councilwoman by the name of Fannie M. Lewis. May she rest in peace. But she presided over a neighborhood. You may remember the Huff riots. You know, a neighborhood that was really trying to overcome social and economic challenges. And she really got me started on the grassroots side. And when I look back on those moments, I never dreamed or knew that I would be in this political positioning that I'm in right now to really make a difference. And as Dr. Jawanza Colvin said to me, he's the pastor of Olivet Institutional Baptist Church, he said, Senator, you need to use your advantage for the advantage of the disadvantage.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really powerful. And I guess when I look back on my life, that's what I've been doing all of my life, either formally or informally. But I got in as a junior at Cleveland State University, registering people to vote with other young college students that really believed in all of our hearts, go figure, that voting was the pathway to opportunity or the way that everyday people could control or change their lives. And I still believe that, even though every day people are making it harder and harder for me to believe it.
John Kasich.
But I believe it.
Look at this story. Ohio governor poised to make voters pay to keep polls open. It's like,
I know, my governor, good God. And he is my...
And they call him a moderate?
Yeah, well, not nationally. I mean, come on, let's face it. With those other 16 people on that,
I suppose compared to Donald Trump,
it's all relative.
But that's sort of like, you know, some of the analogy.
But he's not he doesn't even define himself as a moderate. Now, the governor has done some good things. He expanded Medicaid when Republicans did not want him to do it. I was in the legislature at the time, and he had to find a special way to get that done through our controlling board. He did do that. We've had lots of police violence incidences between the police and the African-American community, whether it was young Tamir Rice or John Crawford III from the Cincinnati area. The 137 shots that happened in 2012 in the city of Cleveland were two unarmed African-Americans. They were shot at cars shot up by police officers, and they had no weapon. And the governor really took the time to listen to what I had to say about the issue, and two of my other colleagues in the legislature, both African-American women. And he did create a task force. And we were able, and still are able, for the first time in Ohio's history, creating standards for police across this great state of Ohio. So he has done some good things. Yeah. Now, in that space right there, I mean, come on. Now, the governor...
Space being you're pointing.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm pointing because you and I could. I'm sorry.
Voters having to pay if they want to vote late.
It is unacceptable in the 21st century, but Republicans are doing this all across the country, and it really started to really reveal itself with the election of President Barack Obama. In your last hour, I was listening to you, and you talked about white privilege and what that means. You defined it, that white people don't have to wake up every day and really give any thought to their race. In that voting space, a lot of that is the case as well, that disproportionately when bills like this or policies like this are out there in the atmosphere, it disproportionately hurts African Americans, our Latino brothers and sisters, poor people, disabled folks who we don't talk a lot about in this space. It's just bad all the way for democracy. So I wish my governor would not. Yeah. He should just say no.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we need an affirmative right to vote.
We do.
Written into our Constitution.
We don't have, right. Let's talk about,
I mean, that was Bush v. Gore.
They think we have that right.
Yeah.
We do not.
Yeah, Rehnquist said there is no affirmative right to vote found in the Constitution.
Not.
And it's
there
crazy.
Is not, and there is not, and we need to do it. But a great start, even before taking on that challenge, is to have this Congress have the courage to do something about VRA. I'm just sick over it. The Voting Rights Act.
Voting Rights Act.
I'm beyond disappointed. I have to keep it PG, so I won't tell you how I'm really feeling about it.
You're talking about John Roberts gutting this?
Yes, gutting it, and the Congress not doing a daggone thing about it is totally unacceptable. We need to beat that drum every chance we get.
And this is a piece of legislation that passed 99-0.
Yes.
Or 98-0, whatever it was. I mean, there was no
overwhelming.
Yeah. And John Roberts, in his excuse for pulling it down, he said, well, everybody voted for it because they felt, what he said, intimidated?
Right, politically correct, I guess we can interpret it that way.
Yeah. Which is just nonsense. Everybody voted for it because it was the right thing to do.
And it still is.
It still is. It absolutely is. And wow. So we have just a minute until the break. You're traveling around the country a lot.
I am.
Are you holding up?
I'm holding. I'm barely holding, but by the grace of God.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's hard, but the cause is right. You know, the time is now when I think about Senator Sanders and his heart-soul agreement. But also, again, even beyond this, I want your listeners and just people in this country to know that our life and what we hope and want for the future, for future generations, is bigger than just this election. And we got to be in it every single election cycle.
Yeah, and in between.
And in between.
You got, it's like find a group, find your community, your tribe, your friend. You know, the play, whether it's drinking liberally or Move to Amend or Progressive Democrats of America or whatever.
We need you on that wall,
right? Yeah,
yes,
and participate and keep these things going until until it's time to vote. Because I mean, we got 50% voter participation in this country. It's crazy.
2014 was abysmal.
Oh yeah.
I mean, more people voted during World War. I think the last time it was that low was during World War II, and it's totally unacceptable. We understand why during World War II.
Oh, but there are half as many people in this country in World War II.
Yeah. No, I know.
Senator Nina Turner with us. We'll be taking your calls too. Stick around. We'll be right back.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.